Well, mention the name Kuun in South African motor racing and straight away you think of rallying, either as a driver, a navigator or as an organiser. And carrying on the line is Enzo Kuun in the studio here today. Welcome, Enzo.
Thank you, Roger.
Well, I suppose with your family history is only one way you were going to go, and that was straight into rallying.
Couldn't go golfing.
So how did it all start for you?
Well, I think I'm pretty much a second generation Kuun. You know, I grew up with motorsport around me in the house, and I had to take my sister's car and go rallying. And it hasn't.
Did she know about that?
She didn't at first, but she knew when it came back with a dent in the windscreen.
Listen, and also I noticed that on these rallies, that when we go out to the rallying, that your father, Christa, and Yanni, your uncle, they're always there supporting you.
No, it's nice to have the support. You know, they've been right up there. Both got their Springbok colours, and they've both competed overseas in prestigious Monte Carlo and RAC rally, those things that dreams are made of. So it's nice. It's nice to have the backup. They know what it's about, and they know what the pressure at the top is. So it's certainly helps you.
And of course, another great endorsement, Sarl van der Merwe really does rate you. You're not another driver that Jan Hittem has taught how to rally.
Well, he tells me I'm useless, so... Yeah, no, Sarl has become a good friend of mine, and I was fortunate to share 2 teams with him.
Which ones are those?
At 95, we were together in Ford, and then went on to share a team in at Daewoo.
Yeah. And that was a very good combination. I mean, you guys did from nowhere. Daewoo came, a little Korean car, 1, 2, 3. You won the Castro rally. It was unbelievable.
No, I think we were a powerful force to deal with. And of course, you know, all that experience from Sarl and, you know, a few new ideas from myself, together we're a powerful team. And yeah, I'd say I'm probably one of the only teammates that really could put together a successful package with Sarl. He's a very competitive person.
Still today.
Still today.
He's in his 50s now, and he still wants to be a winner.
Keeps knocking away.
Yeah, he does. He's leading the West Bank V8 Championship.
Yes, there's no end to the man. He's certainly impressive. I always say if I could be in his form when I get to his age, I'll be able.
And to keep that motivation going, of course.
No, certainly. No, but it's the experience that. And as I say, great guy, very supportive. I never found him offensive in the team, and you know, I think we really helped each other more than trying to beat each other.
The sort of standard of rallying in those national rallies, pretty tough in those days, eh?
Yes, I think it's dropped a little bit. You know, the standard is always determined by the level of competition and how close it is. You know, those days, at least we had 4 or 5 guys gunning for a win. Well, you got Hannes Grobler, you got Jannie Habig, you got Serge Damp, so people like Sarl. Those are competitive names, and when you put them together in equipment that can match each other, that's when you see the sparks fly.
Yeah, and they certainly did. I mean, it was spectacular stuff.
I know we were fighting for split seconds. I mean, I can remember 4 or 5 events that we came to the end, and the winners were split by less than 5 seconds.
That's fantastic. After hundreds and hundreds of
Exactly, that's exciting, you know.
Yeah, that's fantastic stuff. Eh? Your favourite rally? Which was your favourite?
Definitely the Castrol. You know, the Usutu forests. I think by many top drivers, even the people like Jimmy McRae used to come here, still rated as the best rally roads in the world. You know, those fast sweeping 3rd, 4th gear corners in the forest, they just never end, and you have to get your line perfect. You know, a 30-kilometer stage in the Usutu forest is an experience that anyone would like to have.
Yeah, I bet. And of course it was wonderful. We don't even go down to Swaziland anymore. It's terrible.
No, you know, the roads have also deteriorated. It's a pity that we lost that event, because for a drivers, it was a special event. You know, you went through the night. The first section was 24 hours of driving. It was a real test.
It was a test.
Yeah.
And a big party afterwards.
Of course, the atmosphere, you know all about it. Thousands of people going. But you know,
we used to do live television coverage of that. I mean, right out through the mountains, through all these microwave towns. Yes. It was great stuff. Okay, and how did you rate the mountain trial? That always looks a pretty tough one, with big consequences if you come short there.
Certainly big. You know, you look down there and you don't know how long it's going to take before you stop rolling. But that keeps you, funny enough, when you're in the racing car and you focus. You never ever look down, you never focus on the drops. You know, sometimes at the end of the stage you can't even recall the heights, because you focus on the piece of road, the next corner, getting the car, stopping it down that downhill on the rolling stone. So, you know, when you start rallying, all the drivers tell you about how horrific this event is. You know, you don't want to go there and you have sleepless nights. But when you do it and you're on a top level and you're competing with the people around you, it's just another piece of road you need to pass as soon as possible.
In South Africa, why do you think not more youngsters are coming into rallying, Enzo?
Yeah, it's a pity, you know. You've got young guys there like Jochen Fecken and they're not getting help, you know. I think it's pretty much
I mean, is nobody helping them all financially with the car and anything?
They're struggling. It's rallying and the sport is very much dependent on the manufacturers. I think we all know what happened in October of '98, you know, the industry crashed. And the devaluation of the rand as well. You know, we're running a pound-related sport. It's expensive.
It is expensive.
And the youngsters are being neglected, that's for sure. I mean, why do we have...
You've got good talent. I mean, there you said Jochen Fecken, Jean-Pierre Damza.
That's right.
Little Sanders, Dean Saunders.
Dean Saunders certainly as fast as he is.
But I mean, we're not getting more and more people. They sort of, some of them do regionals and then they seem to rally.
You know, it's a very expensive step to go into the big league. You need the support of a manufacturer. You need the endorsement. And you need someone to take your hand, take the risk, because you might not be a success. You know, ask Jody Scheckter. It's cost him lots of money to bring his son.
He says £500,000
exactly
for Thomas. But the manufacturers claim that they do support people, though, eh?
They do, but I don't think they do like they used to. I mean, I know what kind of support I got in 1985 when I built my own car.
You've been rallying that long?
Yes, a long time ago since I used my sister's car.
And having standard cars with turbos and four-wheel drive should be going the right way.
Yes, I think it's cheap, relatively cheap. You know, whenever you go to a modified class, those parts are being designed, developed and sourced in the UK or the USA. You pay for those parts in pounds. And, you know, we're running a pound-related sport. It's expensive. When you run a standard vehicle, like these Group N4 Subarus or Mitsubishis we're talking about, you can source those vehicles and source 90% of the parts off at a dealer.
Yeah, which makes a big difference.
Makes a big
difference. It's the ideal way to, because they've resisted that for a long time.
Yes, the pity is though that most of the main manufacturers in our country don't have cars like that. So, you know, once again we're creating another class and there'll be a single winner there. But I think it'll grow. There's more potential there. It's achievable. It's affordable for privateers, wannabe superstars that think they can come and play with the big boys. They can certainly enter the thing at a
You yourself driving next year? You got plans?
Quite a few plans on the table there.
That's what?
I can't discuss that now.
You have picked it up from Sol. Okay, finally now into off-road racing. You've had some good events in Colts. Are you enjoying that?
Off-road racing is a different discipline, you know. It's a different story. The guys are much more relaxed. It's more of a party.
It's like the old days used to be.
Like the old days with rallying, you know. You have a party before and after.
And during.
But it's a tough game. It's endurance more than speed. I've had to learn that because rallying is just sheer speed. You know, you need to. The cars are so strong these days. You drive them as hard as they can go. With off-road racing, I mean, we just did the 1,000-kilometer race in Botswana. Man, that was a tough race. You know,
and you've got to be fit to drive it.
You've got to be fit to drive it in that car all day. And I mean, I had a 1,000-kilometer dice with Hannes Grobler, and that was brilliant.
That's a lot of the weight.
Yeah,
all the concentration.
That's brilliant.
And you see a good future for off-road racing, for yourself and for off-road racing?
Certainly, I'm involved with the Colt team. They're new guys on the block, and they're very exciting about being involved in motorsport, part of the Daimler Chrysler group. They got a professional approach to it. But a lot of setting up as to go through, you know, developing of the vehicle. It's never been raced before in the world, basically. And I think it's certainly a future for the sport. A lot of private money in the sport. A lot of
it's going to be protected to an extent?
It needs protection, Roger. No doubt. You know, when manufacturers get involved and they're allowed to enter a modified class, costs just quadruple.
That's where the privateer loses out.
That's where he loses out.
And in this sort of racing, you need, as you say, protection.
We need protection against the technology that is available in Europe. You know, if we all want to run Paris-Dakar cars, it will cost us 3 million rand a car, and that's what it'll take to win. And it's difficult to justify that plus all the money to run it in the exposure you get. You know, if we keep it cheap, I think it'll stay alive, and the manufacturers will stay there, and they'll keep coming, the sport will grow as it's growing now. It's certainly in good shape.
Well, Enzo, very nice having you in the program. Super.
Yeah, Roger.
That's Enzo Kuun, foremost in South African rallying and also off-road racing now. You've heard it from the man himself. And what's happened in his career, we look forward to more things happening for him.